Let's be honest, the last 18 months have been, well, shit. Lockdowns, restrictions and social distancing have put us all under a variety of stresses, and while the return to whatever now constitutes normal life is welcomed, there's nothing like a good rush hour traffic jam to send the blood pressure soaring. Prepare yourselves, as this next sentence will probably come as a shock. I relax by playing computer games. I know, right? Who knew? What particular game I play entirely depends upon my mood. Sometimes roaming the open plains of Skyrim is the perfect tonic, while others I need a healthy dose of city skylines, and some days there's nothing more cathartic than zooming through the countryside in Forza 4 while screaming "Power!" Jeremy Clarkson style. But sometimes you just want a game that requires no thought, no characterization, no planning, no concentration, and there are plenty of those games around, so with that in mind, I present to you my top 5 relaxing games to play after being stuck in traffic on your commute home from work, but if you work from home they'll still be relaxing too. List. Thing. Number 1. Banished. I like to imagine the pitch for Banished back in 2011 went something like this. What's this game about, Mr. Horodovitz? Well, it's a medieval city builder focused on a group of outcasts who have been banished from their home. Wonderful, I like what you did there. And are there survival mechanics then? Oh yes, tons of them. Perfect. Good graphics and animations? Absolutely. Fantastic. A complex and interconnected economy system? One of the strongest you'll see. Marvellous. So what's the end game like? End game? Yes, what's the goal? To build a town for the outcast to live in. And what? Combat? No, that's the great thing. There isn't any. See, I really like this game called Anno. Goodbye, Mr. Horodovitz. The thing is, every decision that Luke Horodovitz, founder of Shining Rock Software, made in the development of Banished was exactly the right call. This is a gorgeously designed, beautifully detailed, slow-paced city builder that is the ideal game to turn on and lose yourself in for a couple of hours. Released in 2014 after a reported 5,500 hours of work, Banished puts you in control of a small group of settlers who have to rebuild their lives after being banished from wherever they used to call home. I like to think it was Croydon. To do this, you have to gather resources, manage your settlers, and build their town from absolute scratch. You can alter the difficulty of your start so that there are more settlers and more starting buildings and resources, and then you just sit back and play God. And despite the slow pace and occasional feeling of, am I actually achieving anything here? There is an immense satisfaction in watching your settlers go from having literally just the clothes on their back to having a thriving community with links to whatever outside world there is. You can even, if you have the sort of charitable heart for the venture, welcome more outcasts from Croydon into your quaint country village, or your quaint country metropolis, depending on how much time you invest. Banished is not a game that will get your pulse racing, but it is most certainly a game that will offer you an escape from reality and forget that long, laborious drive home. From Croydon. Number 2. Oh Sir, the Insult Simulator. Do you remember that Monty Python sketch about the dead parrot? If you don't, find it and watch it now. Then watch every other thing that Monty Python created. Then download Oh Sir, the Insult Simulator and watch your life disappear into a haze of witty, ridiculous and mildly hurtful insults. Released by Vile Monarch and Good Shepherd Entertainment in 2016, this game is to combat gaming what Terry Pratchett is to Lord of the Rings, and it's brilliant. The basic premise is that you pick your character from a list of beautifully wacky antagonists, each with their own distinct characteristics and weaknesses, and hurl yourself into a verbal sparring match. The aim of the game is to successfully shame and belittle your opponent using increasingly withering and petty put-downs. If you succeed, you win the argument. If you don't, then you run away with your tail between your legs and cry to mother. Despite the ridiculous premise, Oh Sir actually stands up pretty well as a combat game. The arenas are varied and well designed, the mechanics are well implemented, and there is an almost visceral satisfaction from verbally eviscerating and vanquishing verbosely vile villains. Yes, I am proud of that sentence. Everything about Oh Sir is really well crafted and they don't miss a trick. The scenarios you find yourself in are ludicrous, as are most of the insults you will create, and it is overall one of the most enjoyable experiences I have had with a video game. Whether online or in single player, Oh Sir is a great way to unwind, and a game about hurling abuse at people who start unnecessary arguments is quite possibly the perfect antidote for those who work in customer-facing positions. Number 3. Euro Truck Simulator 2. Not everybody drives for their commutes, some walk or cycle or get the train, and this suggestion is for them and for those who, like me, find travelling and driving in particular a relaxing act in itself. Since its release in 2012, SCS Software's Euro Truck Simulator 2, I'm just going to say Euro Trucks from now on, has become a somewhat surprise hit. Having shipped 9 million copies as of March 2021, according to Renault Trucks, the manufacturer, not a rival transport sim, it has managed to corner the market in freight haulage simulation. With pretty much all of Europe mapped out, although not entirely to scale, the game various cargoes from point A to point B, but this game is the definition of it's the journey, not the destination. While the scenery is not mile for mile the most accurate depiction of British and European countryside, it is certainly pleasing enough to enjoy as you glide by. And that is the biggest draw for me with Euro Trucks, the long distance travel and sense of scope that it has. It is the kind of game that has you putting on your favourite podcast or using the in-game radio which tunes in live to real-world internet radio from whichever country you are in. Point towards wherever you need or want to go, and go there. You will admittedly have to avoid the occasionally poor AI of the other drivers on the road, though in my experience, some of their actions aren't that different to some of the people who are apparently good enough to pass their test in real life, but that is a minor inconvenience when you can literally point at the horizon and trundle along in your own little world. Number 4. Mini Metro. Hand on heart, I'm a big fan of railways and of railway simulation games, and when I was first introduced to Mini Metro from Dinosaur Polo Club, a studio whose very name sounds like the title of a game you might find on this list, indie developers, make it happen, I have to say I was impressed with its minimalist, stylistic appearance. The gameplay is simple. Connect geometric shapes which represent stations and try to recreate the metro systems of various cities around the globe within abstract and, I assume, relatively accurate maps. But it's not the gameplay that sets this one apart as a great relaxation game. It's the soundtrack. Inspired by minimalist music, the soundtrack is procedurally generated based upon your actions and your network. This makes Mini Metro a brilliant ASMR game, and it's great if you're trying to relax or even drift off to sleep. Not that this game is boring, it isn't. It's actually quite a frenetic and surprisingly detailed travel management sim. Stations randomly appear, each with their corresponding icon, and you have to connect these into an efficient transport system. If a station gets overcrowded, then you lose, so it keeps you invested, particularly when you have a sprawling network to maintain. That is unless you play it in endless mode, in which case you can connect the stations in whatever way you see fit, and regardless of how many people there are, you will never lose, which essentially gives you a unique and individual soundtrack every time you play, and the muted minimalist tones are the perfect soundtrack to stick your headphones in, close your eyes, and let your worries, frustrations and other demons melt away to. Until you realise you're actually playing on normal mode and your version of Piccadilly Circus is about to be overrun by the evening commuter crowd. Oh god, get another locomotive on there quick. Oh god damn it, Mini Metro! Where was I? Ah yes, games to help you relax. Number 5. Farming Simulator 2019. In a previous life, I reviewed Farming Simulator 2019 and I enjoyed it. The physics are laughable, and I mean hilariously laughable, as they have always been with this series, but FS19 makes some serious improvements in other areas that most definitely allow it to qualify for this list. It has almost become Farmer Simulator rather than just Farming Simulator, because you can actually spend more time doing things outside of the tractor than in it. The graphics are pretty darn good, probably far better than a game like this has any right to be, and the environments are beautiful to explore. The addition of horse riding in FS19 gave you not only another method of travel, and another facet to your animal husbandry, but a great way to relax and make this a reputable open world game in its own right. The scenery is dense and detailed in a way that we have no right to expect from what is essentially a business simulator where you grow food and occasionally get paid to mow someone's lawn. But the real strength of Farming Sim is the joy you get from ploughing, seeding, harvesting and maintaining your crops. The unbridled satisfaction of getting perfectly straight lines as you cut down your corn is truly cathartic, or so I've been told. I've never really managed it, to be honest. I usually end up with wavy lines that give all my friends with OCD nightmares, but I digress. The careful tending of your land, caring for your animals, and the knowledge of a job well done is one of the more rewarding experiences I've ever had from any gaming series. So, after a long day at the grindstone, do yourself a favour. Drive, smash into a lamppost at 80 miles an hour, suffer no damage, clip a rock, roll down a ravine, and land the car on its roof. Thank you, Farming Simulator, you physics-ignoring rascal. And there you have it, 5 games to come home and unwind with. Now, if you don't mind, I need to go and unwind after all this talking with a large whiskey. I've been Chris for Invicta magazine, and thank you for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments, and if you enjoyed it, please do give this video a like and a share. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and keep up with all our latest content. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, plus we stream regularly on Twitch, and you can find all those links in the description below along with our website. See you next time. Goodbye for now.